Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, and welcome to episode 5 of the Action Athletics Podcast. My name is Nathanael Morton, and I am a sports performance trainer who specializes in basketball players, and I am joined with my good friend, Kevin McCardle. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing great. A little sore, but I'm doing good. How are you?
A little sore. You guys, we have big announcements in this episode.
We do.
Announcement number 1. You are not going to believe it. Yesterday, for the first time in 29 years, Kevin McCardle did a workout.
I did.
And
I even participated in the skills training with his athletes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was. So let's everybody, if you're at home, clap it up for Kevin.
Thank you.
Nice job, Kevin.
Thank you.
And I was joking, it wasn't the first time in 29 years, but how long has it actually been since you have actually worked out?
So, well, I mean, like since I actually worked out, I mean, I've done things, like trying to kind of stay in shape for the most part over the years, but since I actually did anything basketball related, it's been since I want to say probably 2018. So it's been a solid 4 years since I played any type of basketball.
Okay, and what about actual weight training?
So weight training?
Because you were coming with me a while ago.
I was, and then I was doing some like weight training here and there, in the academy. Of course, we had a lot of physical activity in the academy, and that was in 2018, which was right around the time that I decided to stop playing basketball because I didn't want to get hurt. But outside of that, I couldn't tell you. To be honest, I couldn't tell you. I know that within the past 4 years, I've done some type of training, but nothing consistent.
Right.
Nothing consistent.
Okay, so it's been 4 years, essentially, since Kevin has done anything basketball related or strength training related, but he is back. He is now committed after me making fun of him over and over and over and trying to persuade him that he needs to get in the weight room and on the court.
Yeah, and actually, full disclaimer, too. I am not doing anything upper body related, and that is due to my injury, from my shoulder. I can barely, shoot a ball, pass a ball, but I can do all that because it's very that's where I'm starting. It's kind of like physical therapy for myself. I also am doing physical therapy upper body-wise, outside of the training that I do for you. But everything that I'm basically doing right now is a lot of lower body stuff, low-intensity stuff because – and me and Nate can agree on this. I'm not going from 0 to 100 right off the bat because I don't want to be too sore. I don't want to break down my muscles to the point to where I can get injured. And so I'm trying to take it very slowly. Doing the right things that I've learned throughout having conversations with Nate, also our buddy that we had on the podcast last week, Tyler Miller. So I'm really trying to give it a go, but I have to add that disclaimer in there that I am not doing anything strength related as it pertains to my upper body.
Right. And going off of that, can you guess the workout that we did yesterday? You remember?
Yeah.
Can you guess which of my programs? Because that was a workout from one of my programs. Which program do you think that workout was from?
Well, and one of the reasons why I know this is because, again, I've helped you with the programs and whatnot when it comes to, laying them out for your website. But if I had to take a guess, and I'm hoping I'm right here, and if I'm not right, please help me. The Indestructible Knees?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. That workout was from the Indestructible Knees program. So if you're listening, what Kevin and I did were some low-level plyometrics, just some baby ankle bounces, some lateral line jumps. We did some isometric work. So we did a single leg knee extension. We did some Spanish squats. And then we finished off with eccentric squats on a slanted board. And that was the workout that we did yesterday. So congrats, Kevin. I am very proud of you. I know the Action Army is very proud of you. There's been a lot of comments in the YouTube section flaming you.
That is true.
And I've been actually telling people, you know this because you edit the videos,
I know.
But I've been telling everybody, please flame Kevin until this man starts working out. So
yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the reason I started doing that is not because necessarily the YouTube comments. I mean, that definitely helps, and I appreciate all the motivation out there, that I got personally from the fan base and stuff, but I'm really doing it because I just I have more time. It's a lifestyle thing for me. And also, I'm going to be honest with you, if you guys are wondering how I'm feeling after yesterday, even though it was low-level stuff, I'm a little sore, right? But I think that it could be a lot worse if I didn't take Nate's advice when it comes to recovery. Last night, I went home. I ate a gigantic meal, had some more food before I went to bed. Of course, we had to do some trick-or-treating and stuff. But outside of that, I got plenty of sleep. I made sure I went to sleep at the right time. I woke up this morning. Like I said, I was a little bit sore, but I took a hot shower. After that hot shower, I felt a lot better. So this stuff works,
right,
is what I'm trying to get to. It works. And I'm not just trying to tell you guys that because, obviously Nate is my best friend and obviously I have something to gain here. I'm telling you because these are facts. This stuff works. Because if I would have done the same thing yesterday that I would have done, years ago, not knowing the same information, I can promise you that I would have probably A, got hurt yesterday, or B, I would have probably pushed myself too hard, or even C, I would be feeling like garbage today. So thank you, Nate. I appreciate you and all the advice that you give to not only the people, but to me as well.
You're welcome. And this is honestly advice that I give to all of my athletes that I train in person as well, the athletes that I coach on my high school team. A kid said to me the other day, he said, after our workout, we did a bounce workout, vertical jump. We did squats and plyometrics. He said, man, I went home and I fell right asleep. I'm like, did you eat it all? He's like, no, I didn't eat. I was tired and I just went to bed. I'm like, dude, you got to eat next time. Yeah. You have to get your protein, your carbs, your healthy fats. Right.
Yeah.
You have to get that. And that's what I told Kevin. Make sure that you eat, you get good nutrition, and make sure that you get a lot of sleep. Don't use an alarm, which you've also stopped using an alarm.
I have. So I actually wake up earlier than expected. So I'll be honest with you guys. I probably wake up around 5:30 naturally. But me knowing myself and me knowing that I don't really have anything to do between the hours of 6 and 8 when I usually wake up, I usually, if I do have something to do, I have no problem waking up and doing it then. But as of recently, I haven't had to be up till 8. So I will say that I have been using an alarm to wake myself back up. But initially, I have gotten my body to the point to where I am waking up naturally around 5:30, 6 a.m.
I love it. So you're taking action on all of the stuff that we're talking about.
I might as well.
In the Action Athletics podcast.
Yeah, and I might as well. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that too. I'm doing all this because how can I sit here and have these conversations with you and listen to it week after week and spend all this time with you and around, your athletes and people really working hard to get themselves right and not take any action at all. It started with the sleep, started with me eating right, and now I'm training again. Granted it's on a low level, but still something's better than nothing.
Right, and that's a great point. And one thing I want to, just a little side note that all of you out there need to understand is you become who you surround yourself with.
True.
So look at the 5 closest people to you. What are they doing? Are they goal-oriented? Are they growing? Are they getting better every single day? Or are they on the opposite end where they're not really doing what they need to do? So it's very hard for Kevin to sit here and be around me and all of my athletes and not want to grow and get better and work out and improve yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
All right, so that was the first note. Thank goodness Kevin finally started working out. Very quickly, I did want to just talk about what this podcast, what the viewers and the listeners can expect from this podcast. And then I do have one more announcement. But in this podcast, we're talking about the 3 biggest mistakes that I see when it comes to people trying to increase their vertical jump. The 3 biggest mistakes. And I have a surprise for all of everybody listening during that segment. Then we're going to do a Q&A, which we have 30 questions. I know that's a lot, but I'm going to try to move quickly through those questions.
Yeah.
These questions are from the YouTube channel. So if you comment on YouTube, sometimes we take those questions and we answer them in the podcast.
Yep.
And then we're going to do the on-the-spot segment with Kevin McCardle.
Yes.
But that is what you can expect from this podcast today. So my first announcement was Kevin did his first workout. My second announcement, and I have shame overtaking my body right now as I am thinking about this. But ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and I played 1-on-1 to 7. Unfortunately, I don't even know how I let this happen. I let Kevin score 4 points on me. We played to 7, all ones. The score was 7-4. Obviously, I won, but I wanted to shut him out. I really did. I wanted to shut you out.
I mean, it wouldn't have been hard, too, considering that I have a bum ankle and haven't played in years. Or not ankle, I'm sorry. Well, I do have a bum ankle, too, but my shoulder and stuff like that. I mean, when I'm out there, I don't want you guys to think that, like, I'm going, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm not trying to hurt myself more. So I'm not out there, trying to, bang some baskets in the paint and stuff like that because I want to get better in my shoulder and stuff. So I have to put that out there. I have to. I have to let the listeners know, listen, I may have scored those 4 points, okay? But I was not trying my hardest, but I kind of was, but I wasn't. I was trying to my ability. That was my ability at the time, but also at the same time, I'll be honest with you guys, like I probably should have scored like 2 of those baskets, well 3 of those baskets, and then I got winded, and then it is what it is. But I will say that the 4th basket, that little hook that I did, I mean, 50-50 shot, but I mean, hey, it went in, so I'll take those 4 points any day.
This is what happened for all the listeners. This is what happened. Imagine Kevin and I are playing 1-on-1. So you see a stud on one end of the court, and then you see scrawny little Kevin on the other end.
He said scrawny.
Yeah, you're scrawny until you.
Do you know how much I'm down to?
How much?
188.
Wow.
I was all the way at 210, 215, like full blown, like working all that overtime and this, that, and the other, and now I'm all the way down 22 pounds, and I feel great.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is what happened. This is how Kevin scored 4 buckets on me. Who had ball first? Did you? You had ball first.
Yeah, because I shot for it.
And you made it?
I made it, yeah.
Okay. Kevin had ball first. So obviously I do what anyone would do if they're playing somebody who's not very good at basketball. I let Kevin, kind of, do what he was going to do. First play. He drove to the left. I honestly thought you were going to miss the layup. I kind of let him go by me. He made the layup. 1-0 Kevin. All my athletes are on the side. They're like, oh, he scored on you. I'm like, all right, relax. Then Kevin can't shoot. Actually, you can.
I can shoot now.
Can shoot.
I don't know why I can shoot now, but I can shoot now. Yeah.
Yeah, you broke your collarbone. All of a sudden,
I know.
You can shoot.
It's like my shoulders. Like, hey, dog. Like, I know we can't do a lot of stuff, but we can shoot a basketball.
Right. So
it just feels natural. It feels good.
So it's 1-0 Kevin, and then I let him shoot, and he makes it. Now it's 2-0 Kevin. I'm like, all right.
It was a 3 ball, by the way.
Yeah, but we're playing all once.
I know.
Really
I just got to put that out there.
All right.
Behind the arc.
So I'm like, all right. That was lucky. I let Kevin shoot again. He makes it. So now it's 3-0 Kevin. And all of my athletes are doubting me.
Literally.
And they're like, who's this dude you just brought? I'm like, trust me, he's not built like this. He's not built like this. He's getting lucky. But I'm like, all right, 3-0. We're playing to 7. I need to strap up.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually playing defense on Kevin.
And I know this, by the way, too. In my head, I'm like, all right, I got to give it my all this last one because I was gassed at this point.
So Kevin jabs to the left. He drives right. I immediately shut him down because my defense is on 1,000.
And he knows my left hand isn't.
He has 0 left hand. He spins.
I don't have 0 left hand.
He does a left hand hook.
Exactly.
It hits off the backboard and goes in.
Yeah, but it hits off the backboard and doesn't like rim or anything, or doesn't like hit one side of the rim and then hit the other. No, it literally just, I placed it perfectly on the backboard and it went in. Bank shot.
99 times out of 100, you're not.
No, 50-50.
99.
And plus, I'm playing Nate with him trying to lock me down. So you have to think it's Nate trying to lock Kevin down at this point because he is embarrassed at this point. His athletes were literally making fun of them. I wasn't trying to laugh at Nate, but at the time, like his athletes on the side, like just picture me, Nate, 1-on-1, 3-0. He's playing hard defense because he's got to lock me down because he knows that if he gets a ball back, I probably ain't going to be able to shut him down. And I just literally do my thing, make that bank shot, and like it was beautiful. But What happened after that? Go ahead. You can tell them.
So now it's 4-0.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is enough. So I get a stop. Finally, I get a stop on Kevin. And then I'll let you tell the listeners. What happened after that?
It was just I just remember a lot of scoring and a lot of like my hands on my knees, and then at one point I almost rolled my ankle. Another point, yeah, there's a lot of bad things that happen after that. I have no excuse other than the fact that I'm out of shape and I may be a bum.
All right. So the end of the story,
Yeah.
I went on to score 7 in a row.
He did.
It was 7-4 at the end.
Yeah.
It was a wild game.
It was.
It was a wild game, but the end was 7-4. I apologize, Action Army. I did let Kevin score 4 points, but magically he can shoot now with his broken collarbone.
I know. Still broken, by the way.
Anyways, let's actually get into this podcast. We're going to talk about 3 mistakes that I see athletes make when trying to increase their vertical jump. So you out there listening, I want you to assess whether or not these mistakes apply to you. Are you making these mistakes? Mistake number 1 is overtraining, and I feel like we've talked about that so much, so stay with me, please. Mistake number 1 is overtraining or not feeling fresh. Overtraining or not feeling fresh. So when it comes to vertical jump, you need to feel fresh, especially in season. So I know I'm talking about in season because we're approaching the season here for basketball.
Right.
But overtraining would be doing so much work or breaking your body down and then not allowing your body to fully recover past the point where you were before you hit that next workout. So
Right.
Let's say you work out on Monday just to make it easy. If you work out again before your body is fully recovered, that is considered overtraining. If you are doing too much volume to the point where you are not feeling fresh, then that is going to be probably the biggest mistake that I see when it comes to vertical jump. And think about yourself right now. Do you feel fresh? You out there listening, do you feel fresh right now to the point where you could go to the court and get a couple dunks in or even jump your highest? If not, if you're feeling sore, if you're feeling fatigued, if your knees hurt, if your muscles are aching, then you're not fresh. So that is probably the biggest mistake that I see is overtraining or not feeling fresh when it comes to vertical jump. You need to be doing high intensity but lower volume to the point where you are forcing your body to adapt, but you are also allowing for enough recovery that your body does adapt and make those gains on your vertical jump.
That makes sense. So if you're sore, I mean, just try to do something light, I guess, right?
Right. So you're going to get sore from
Right.
workouts. The more you work out, the less you are going to be sore.
Mm-hmm.
And from vertical jump workouts, a lot of the times I'm not even sore.
Right.
Like I'm really not.
Well, you've
because
been doing it for a long time, too. You got to think about that.
That's true, but you're also really not going to failure. Like
True.
this isn't
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
Yeah.
This is trying to increase your vertical jump. So
Right.
when you leave a vertical jump workout, you should actually be feeling a little bit bouncy. You should be feeling like, wow, I could probably jump up and get pretty high right now.
Yeah, so yesterday when I did that workout in the morning, I would say I wasn't sore or anything like that afterwards. I mean, my muscles for the first time, I probably engaged a lot of muscles that I necessarily wouldn't use. But I would say that, I felt pretty, I felt loose.
Right.
I felt loose.
Right.
I mean, granted, I didn't use any weights. Yesterday, you used some weights. But still at the same time, I felt pretty loose, so I can attest to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's obviously times where you aren't going to leave the gym and
Mm-hmm.
feel super bouncy. Like yesterday, we did a lot of isometric work
Yeah.
and eccentric work. We did the slow eccentrics on the slanted board. That type of stuff, you're probably not going to feel as bouncy when you leave the gym.
Right.
As opposed to if we did some power work, like some high pulls or some hang cleans for 5 sets of 3 reps where we're moving the weight fast, we're doing plyometrics, we're jumping around. You're going to feel more bouncy after those types of workouts than after the volume workouts or any work with isometrics and eccentrics in them.
I got you. I'm just saying I felt pretty loose yesterday.
Right, yeah. So there are different types of workouts. Some you're going to feel more bouncy afterwards than others. But in general, one of the biggest I'm not going to say the biggest, but one of the biggest mistakes that I see when athletes are trying to increase their vertical jump is overtraining, not allowing for enough recovery before you do your next workout, and not feeling fresh. Freshness is key, especially when it comes to in-season training.
Gotcha.
Mistake number 2 is not training with intent. Do you know what that means?
So if I had to make a guess, I would say that you're talking about you're just going out there to, especially in season, maybe you want to do workouts that are actually going to help you versus doing workouts that you really necessarily don't need, thus burning maybe energy and stuff that you could be using for stuff that would maybe progress your, I don't know. I mean, does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
That's sort of it. So think about a vertical jump workout. When I'm talking about training with intent, this is a huge mistake that I see. And it's essentially going through the workout, going through the motions without having that intention in mind with every single exercise and every single rep. So think about a squat. So many times do my athletes in my members programs, they'll say, hey, can I send you my form? And I'll say, yeah, sure. So they'll send me their squat or their deadlift or another lift, and they'll just be doing normal squats, up and down, up and down. And the key with squats, when it comes to increasing your vertical jump, is you have to be moving the weight as fast as possible from the bottom of the rep to the top of the rep. So if you're training with intent, the intention of that squat is to move it from the top or from the bottom to the top as quickly as possible. A lot of people don't have that intent, and they're just doing their squats without the intent of moving the weight fast.
Which I'm sure is okay if you're just doing squats to do squats. Like you either, you have another reason. But with vertical jump, it makes sense what you're saying because you want that explosiveness.
Exactly.
You want to be able to, get your legs used to exploding faster, quicker, and thus strengthening them, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So to increase your vertical jump, we've talked about this many times.
Yeah.
You have to create an adaptation in your body
to
force your body to get more explosive, to force your body to get stronger, to force your neural pathways to function more efficiently. You have to train with that intent, and you have to progressive overload. So each exercise, you need to think about, okay, what is the purpose of this exercise? And then based on that purpose, you have to think about what should my intention be with this exercise. For a squat, it might be moving the weight as fast as possible. For a broad jump, it might be the intent needs to be jumping a little bit farther than last time. With a depth jump, I need to jump a little bit higher than last time. With the sprint, I need to run a little bit faster the next time than last time to force my body to adapt.
With vertical jump in mind.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So we're talking about if you're doing vertical jump workouts, each exercise has a purpose. And the purpose is not always moving fast.
Right.
If we're doing volume work or we're doing eccentric work like yesterday where we're moving the weight or where we're going down very slowly, then the intention is to move the weight slowly, right? So, but each exercise has a specific purpose, and the intention for each exercise is different. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see is not having that intent in mind when doing these exercises. Maybe you're thinking about a girl. Maybe you're thinking about your homework. Maybe you're thinking about a job. Maybe you're just daydreaming.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about something else, then you're not thinking about what the purpose of this exercise is and how you need to be performing that exercise so that it will in turn increase your vertical jump.
Makes sense.
That's mistake number 2, not training with intent.
Okay, got you.
For vertical jump mistake number 3, I have a surprise for all of you, and I have a surprise for Kevin because Kevin does not know what I'm about to do.
I don't.
What I did was I messaged 2 friends on Instagram, just Jumari and Against Odds Athletics, so Christopher Spell. We just did a review on his World Record Jump Academy.
Yes. Yeah.
So these are 2 of the leading authorities in the vertical jump sports performance world, right? So what I did was I asked them the same question. I said, what is the biggest mistake that you see with athletes trying to increase their vertical jump? And we have both of their responses right here in my hand. Are you ready, Kevin?
Oh, I love this. Let's go. Wait, so you asked them the 3?
No, I didn't ask them
Just
3.
one, just one.
So I did the first 2. Number 1, I
Gotcha.
think overtraining and not feeling fresh is a huge mistake that athletes make. Mistake
So you
number
told
2,
them this.
I didn't tell them the first 2.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, I just asked them, what do you think the biggest
Okay.
mistake is? I'm going to use your answer in my podcast.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So just to reiterate, mistake number 1 is overtraining, not feeling fresh. Mistake number 2 is not training with intent. Mistake number 3, we're going to go with Christopher Spell first. I said, what is your number 1 mistake that you see with athletes trying to increase your vertical jump? He said, I'd say the number 1 mistake I see with trying to increase vertical jump is overestimating how much can be done in a month and underestimating how much can be done in 5 years. That and not falling in love with the process, which I think those go hand in hand. Train yourself to be more satisfied with the process and the journey than you are with the end result.
I love that response.
That's a great response.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Because there's so many. He didn't just give you one. He went into an elaborate kind of response. And there's very many different parts of that. Is there anything to his response that you would like to kind of like focus on?
Yeah, so I like all of it.
Okay.
I really like all of it. So, and I agree with it. But when he said overestimating how much can be done in a month and underestimating how much can be done in 5 years, that is a massive, massive mistake when it comes to increase your vertical jump that pretty much every athlete goes through at one point in time.
Yeah.
Because we all want to increase our vertical jump and we all want to do it quickly. And that goes hand in hand with his second part, which is not falling in love with the process.
Yeah.
You have to fall in love with the process, and you have to just understand that when it comes to your vertical jump, if you really want to be a high flyer, if you really want to play above the rim, it's going to take years.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I tell my athletes. My athlete, Keelan, yesterday, he's a 1-foot jumper. He got his first dunk off of 2 feet. He actually dunked on 10-1, so 1 inch higher than a normal basketball hoop. And I put it up a little bit because I want him to challenge himself. He got his first dunks off of 2 feet yesterday in the room. And he understands, though, because I say it all the time, you have to understand that this is going to take a long time. Because some days he can't dunk, I'll be honest. Some days Keelan cannot dunk. Other days, like yesterday, he's super bouncy. That's how it is. Some days you're super bouncy, some days you're not. And I tell him, it's not going to matter. As long as you train with me for years and years and years, eventually your bad days are going to be way better than your old good days.
Right.
So it's going to take time. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with growing and getting better. Focus on how this workout is going to help you. Focus on doing hard things. Focus on the discipline. Focus on why you want to do this in the first place. Don't focus on, oh, I can't dunk right now. Fall in love with the process. So I love that answer from Christopher Spell.
Yeah, me too.
And this is what I want to say is make sure you guys are following Christopher Spell on Instagram and on YouTube. We're not here to put anybody else down. What we like to do, Kevin and I, is lift other people up. And when we see people doing great things, because at the end of the day, all of us are here. Our business is to help athletes become better athletes. So Christopher Spell, I do believe if you follow him on Instagram and on YouTube, you will become a better athlete because of it. Because he puts out such great content.
I agree. And not only that, but you can probably learn a couple life lessons off him too. He's very well spoken, very well educated, and I can almost guarantee you that you will at least learn one thing.
Yes.
At least one.
Yes. So great follow on Instagram and YouTube, and great response to
Absolutely.
Biggest mistake.
Thank you, Christopher Spell.
Yes, thank you. Next, we have Just Jumari from Instagram. And he also has a YouTube channel as well. So follow Just Jumari on Instagram and on YouTube. Great follow. Puts out great science-based content. Just a great information source in general. And get this, Kevin, he's 20 years old.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that.
He was actually helping me with my Instagram, and when he was 19, this was like half a year ago. And I was like, a 19-year-old, imagine if I had an ego. And I was like, I ain't listening to this 19-year-old. This dude, Just Jumari, literally helped me so much with my Instagram. I listened to him, and I went from 5,000 followers to 12,000 followers on Instagram.
Nice.
Based on his advice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Imagine if I had an ego, and I'm like, I ain't listening to this kid.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So he's a great follow. So I asked Just Jumari, what is the biggest mistake that you see when it comes to trying to increase your vertical jump? And he said, I think jumping without a goal and never doing max effort jumps is probably one of the easiest mistakes that people make. I love strength work. I'm huge on velocity-based training. Even on the heavy stuff, I'll push accelerating strength and do all that fun stuff. But people want to push their strength numbers all day, and then they wonder why they don't get transfer when they never do max effort sprints and max effort jumps. I love that answer.
I do too. That makes more sense than what Christopher Spell had to say, but it was because in my mind, like, that resonated more because I've been there.
Right.
I've been there. And not everybody likes to go out to the track and dedicate, 10, 15 minutes of your time doing just full sprints, full out sprints. I get it. Honestly, I've been there, I remember trying to, get faster and this, that, and the other and having to sprint. No, but I personally did not like sprinting. But that was also a young, immature me, more, I think more rational now than I did back then. And he's 100% right, I feel like. Just coming from the everyday Joe, I mean, that makes sense because if you're not doing these things 100%, how can your body adapt?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
how can it adapt?
It.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, your body's, it's just going to keep doing the same thing it's used to doing. I mean, you can build strength all day, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing that explosive stuff, definitely makes sense because your body's not going to adapt.
I wasn't going to read his second part, but because that resonated with you, I think that this second part will resonate with you as well.
Okay.
And other listeners out there. He went on to say, and he even said, you don't have to say all this in the podcast. Now I just got a rant. But
here we go.
He said, the reason people never test their sprint times or try to beat their max jump height is because they're afraid to fail.
It's true.
That is facts.
That is 100%.
Facts.
Especially as a 19, 18, 20-year-old kid, not thinking mature. You don't want to let yourself down at the end of the day. You think, just putting myself back then, I remember where my ego was. And, I mean, you don't want to see yourself fail. You want to do better each and every time. But it's something with maturity that you might get just a little bit of while listening to this podcast that you trust us. Just trust us and learn from our mistakes. Push yourself because of that right there. Right there. I mean, anyways, keep going. I'm sorry.
I see it all the time, though.
Yeah.
I'll say,
yeah,
go try to dunk.
Right.
I don't really want to try to dunk. It's like, dude, I know you don't want to try to dunk because you're afraid that you might not dunk. Yeah. And you've been putting in all this work, and you don't want to put in all this work and then still not be able to dunk. Mm-hmm. But you have to get uncomfortable, which is what he says.
Right.
Another thing is, whenever let's say you're playing one-on-one, and I see this with my athlete Keelan, because Keelan is very talented. Mm-hmm. You know Keelan.
I do.
But I have other athletes who are older and more talented.
Yeah.
So I will put them in the same situation, and I'll say, go play against this kid who is bigger and older and more experienced and better than Keelan. And I can see it. I can see that he shuts down a little bit and he would never admit that he's afraid. And maybe he's not afraid, but it's different when he's going against a kid who he knows he can bust their ass. But when it's this bigger, older, more experienced kid or grown man, it's a little bit less, and he doesn't go as hard because it's that subconscious, I don't know if I can do this. I'm afraid to fail. I've been doing all these skills training sessions, and I don't want to, go against this kid and get my ass busted.
That makes sense, and I get that. But in my personal opinion, and I hope Keelan listens to these, Keelan has everything, right? He has the size, he has the agility, the speed, he has the mental discipline to actually do the work that is needed to get better. My only thought about what you just said about him is that he just isn't at that point yet to where
Yet.
Yet. To where he has that, I'm trying to find a good word for it for the podcast, but it's one of those things where you have that like that drive in you that you're like, you see whoever it is in front of you. Kind of like, for example, my mindset going into playing one-on-one with you. I know you're obviously better than me. You're more talented, obviously, and you have, your body is a lot more in shape than mine is right now. Yet. I'm not there yet. But the point is I refuse. I go into that situation thinking, I'm not going to let him lose. I'm not going to let him win. I don't care. I ain't going to let him win. I'm going to try my hardest until I can't, until if I get beat, I get beat. And I remember back in high school, I used to think I never wanted to lose. It would hurt, and nowadays I'm a lot more humble. If you lose, you have something to learn from. You can always learn from that situation right there. Because me thinking Keelan playing one-on-one with a kid, okay, all right, yeah, you might get, the ball sent, right, the first time. But then what that kid's abilities are, so why don't you try something else next time? Keep trying things until they work. So the point that I'm trying to make with Keelan is he has everything. I just think that he's not there yet because of maybe his age, who he's surrounded by yet, to where he has that that competitiveness almost.
Well, that's the thing. He's the best at Carrick.
Right.
He's the best at Carrick.
Right.
So when I bring in these kids from other schools who are bigger and better, it's like he doesn't see that on a normal daily basis. So he's used to being the best at his school.
Right.
But then he does have to develop that mindset of, I want to be the best everywhere.
Not just where you're at.
Exactly.
Because, this may not be news to him, but Carrick isn't exactly the cream of the crop.
We're not.
Exactly. So, and unfortunately, hopefully it won't always be like that, but right now that's how it is. So he has to start thinking bigger picture, and he's in 10th grade, right?
Right.
So you got to think he has plenty of time. Plenty of time to hone his skills, and honestly, I can't wait to see where his life's going to take him.
Right, he's going
to
be
good kid too. Yeah,
let's get back to just Jumari.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So, I'll just reiterate the first part. He said the reason people never test their sprint times or try to beat their previous records is because they are afraid to fail. It is because they are scared of failure and only want to do things that make them look and feel better. If you want to be successful at anything, you have to fail thousands of times. It might sound corny, but this is literally true. This is what he's saying. If you're scared to race the fastest person in your area, time your 40-yard dash every single day, see how slow you are, and then try to actually improve that slow time. If you are bad at jumping and dunking, the only way that you're going to get better is by continuously trying to jump and dunk, which is clearly your weakest point. That's another great point. People love to work on what they are good at. It feels good to work on what you are good at. It doesn't really feel good to work on your weaknesses because you're not that good at that. Keelan, Keelan is one of my athletes. He's in 10th grade. He plays at my school. He's a very good player. Keelan doesn't have the best ball handling ability. Dude can shoot the lights out. He's strong. He can get to the basket, but when it comes to ball handling, he doesn't want to do ball handling drills because he's not that good at it.
I can resonate with that.
I force him because ball handling is the skill that opens up everything else. You have to be able to handle the ball.
At least to the basic, like just level.
He's a 2-guard.
Right.
He needs much more than the basic level.
Yes. Being a 2-guard. I mean, I can understand if he's maybe 4 or 5, not even 5, 4, maybe even 3, corner shooter, whatever, but like you're a 2-guard.
No, he needs to develop his handle.
Yeah,
so to that point and to just Jumari's point, you have to constantly be trying to improve, and you have to constantly try to push that level and expand your boundaries as to what you're good at. And it's not going to feel good doing the things that you're not good at, but you have to do that and bring that up anyways.
Yes, 100% agreed. And I guess I just have nothing else to add other than the fact that if you're not good at something, go out and get better at it. Be humble. Just do it.
Last thing this is just one sentence, but I was going to leave this out, but I love this sentence as well. He said, you got to put yourself in a super uncomfortable zone and do stuff that you hate more than you might think. That's facts.
That is facts. But with him saying that, I would add to that, I'm not going to do something that I hate doing unless I see it, I guess, as a positive progression towards my end goal, right? So, for example, if you hate doing sprints, but I want to get faster, I'm going to go do the sprints.
Exactly. I agree, and I think you said it best when you said you have to have a goal.
Yeah.
And you have to do and believe that which moves you towards your goals, period.
Absolutely.
Whether you hate it, whether you love it, if it is going to move you towards your goals and you really care about that goal, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah, and you're going to feel a lot better after you just do it.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
And once you see yourself start to get better at it,
absolutely.
that is what is really going to feel good.
Yeah, and take pride in the small accomplishments. Really, take pride in the small accomplishments. You might not be able to dunk the ball overnight, but even if you see yourself getting a little bit better here and there, take pride in those small accomplishments, because a little bit of progress is a lot better than zero.
Right. Love it. All right, so thank you to Just Jumari. Thank you to Christopher Spell for giving us those answers. That was 3 mistakes. Well, actually 4 because of both of their answers. So 4 mistakes that most athletes make, not most, but some athletes make when trying to increase a vertical jump. The next segment is a Q&A segment. So we pulled your questions off of YouTube, and Kevin is going to ask the questions. There are 30 questions of all different shapes and sizes and varieties and topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to give you enough context, but since there's 30 questions, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes on each question.
Yeah, let's say we hold it to about try to keep it around 30 seconds an answer.
All right.
Would you say that's fair?
I would say
that's fair.
I would say that's fair for most. I did see some of the questions, and some I'm going to need to elaborate
Fair enough.
a little bit more.
Okay.
But we'll try to keep it quick.
Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is, like he said, 30 questions in front of me. Are we shouting out whoever asked the question?
Yeah, you can shout.
Awesome. So I'll start with the first one. It comes from Mr. J1S off of YouTube. He says, "Is 8 hours all that matters, bro? I believe when you get it matters too. 8 to 9 hours of sleep at 12 a.m. is better than 2 a.m., isn't it? Also, athletes need more than 8, right? Or leaner people."
Okay, so correct. Let's answer the first part first. Going to bed at 12 a.m. is better than going to bed at 2 a.m.
Depending on what your life is.
Absolutely not.
Well, what if you work overnight?
It's still not better.
I understand.
There's no universe.
You're right.
There's no universe in which going to bed at 2 a.m. is better than 12.
You are right. I feel like it doesn't matter the amount of sleep. It matters you getting that sleep overnight. Like during the night, I'm telling you. It's just a difference. Your body is wired to sleep at night.
Correct.
Not during the day.
Correct. This is biological.
Yeah, it makes sense.
This is built into us biologically. There's a such thing as the circadian rhythm. It dates back as to when humans first came on this planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when the sun goes down, we're built to go to sleep. When the sun comes up, we're built to wake up. Yep. Now, it's obviously much different in Alaska where there's only 4 hours of daylight. This differs, obviously. But, yes, the time that you go to sleep does matter. So for best results, honestly, going to bed around 10 p.m. would be a great time for best results. Now, for me, I go to bed between like 8 and 9. What time do you go to bed, Kevin?
Sometime between 10 and 11.
Okay, so, yeah.
That's only because like my kids go to bed at 9:30.
Right.
9:30.
Right. So, yes, the time that you go to bed does matter.
Okay. All right. So,
what was it? The second part of his question?
The second part was...
oh, I know it.
It's the athletes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will need more sleep if you're an athlete.
Yeah.
If you are doing more, if your body has to recover from more damage, then yes, you will need more sleep.
All right. So moving on to the next one, Lee Charlie, he asks, is rice considered a good carb for basketball training?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. moving on to the next one. There's not really too much to get into there, but Ryan Kim, and this is a long one, and also I'm going to do my best. So I just got these this morning, so the grammar might not be completely correct, but I'm going to do my best, okay, because this is kind of a long one. This is from Ryan Kim. He says, question, if my only goal is to throw down my first dunk and nothing else, is it okay to completely replace my 2 jump work sessions a week with seated box jumps, dumbbell jumps, banded jumps, depth jumps, etc., with just going to a basketball court and practicing and keep trying to hit my first dunk on 10-foot or practicing on lower rims? That's the first part, and I'll let you answer that.
So wait, he's saying
if his only goal is to throw down his first dunk and nothing else, is it okay to replace 2 jump work sessions with like going to the basketball court and trying to hit his first dunk on a 10-foot rim? Again, so it goes back to what we were saying before. He's trying to push his body.
I understand that, but you need both.
Yeah.
You need the strength training workouts, and you need jumping. Jumping is going to be the best for jumping.
Yeah, well, he goes on to say, I know you mentioned how the best jump training is jumping, and it doesn't get more sport-specific to my goal of dunking than practicing dunking, but would mean that, or I'm sorry, one of those, but would that mean it would be good to cut those first jump practices exercise I mentioned out? Or is it beneficial to keep those kind of exercises in if my only goal is to dunk, and does practicing dunking on lower rims serve that purpose better?
No. So jumping is obviously going to be the best for jumping. But what do you get with jumping? You do get rate of force development. You do get firing that motor pattern over and over and over, trying to make that more efficient. But you're not going to increase the amount of force that each of your muscles and your body as a unit can produce like you would if you were doing these weight training workouts.
So you would say try to do both.
You need both.
Yeah, you need both.
You need both.
And then, he said something about practicing dunking on lower rims.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
You would? You would say that's a good thing to help?
That's a good thing to help.
Yeah.
Don't use that as a replacement for a strength training workout.
Okay, gotcha.
But low rim dunking is excellent.
Okay, all right, great. Moving on. This one's from Gio. It says, bro, why do you sound like Batman?
Me?
Yep.
There's no way that... Do I sound like Batman? I feel like you sound more like Batman.
I might sound more like Batman, Gio. You're going to have to let us know in the next podcast. Ooh. Shoot us another comment and ask us who you were specifically talking about, because I really don't think you were talking about Nate. I think you were talking about my sexy boy. What?
Next question.
All right, next question. This one comes from Tazo. Hey, I have a question. Can I increase my vertical jump while losing weight?
Yes.
Awesome.
Should I elaborate a little bit for everybody out there trying to lose weight? Okay, this is all I'm going to say very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, you can increase your vertical jump while losing weight. Kevin, there's something called relative strength. It's your strength relative to your body weight. Obviously, if you are very overweight, it's going to be harder to jump. Imagine putting on a 50-pound weight vest and trying to jump as high as you did without it. But when you're in a caloric deficit, meaning you're cutting or trying to lose weight, if you cut too much, then you're not going to have all the fuel that you need to help fuel your jump workouts, your jump sessions, or to repair your body from those workouts. So a 500-calorie deficit per day would be great to keep your vertical jump or even increase your vertical jump while you are in a caloric deficit.
Great. Moving on to the next one, Yuvrov Tor. Hey, bro, when are the program reviews coming back?
Very soon, within the next 2 weeks. We have a review on just Jumari's program, Just Jump. We have a review coming on the Mac McClung program by PGF and Mac McClung. We have Overtime Athletes reviews. We got, Project Pure Athlete. We got tons of reviews coming soon.
Yeah, they just take a long time to do because Nate is very particular. He doesn't like to give bad reviews in a sense to where bad reviews in his mind. What I mean by that is he likes to put in the work and the time to actually go and review these programs.
I like to study the programs.
Yes. So imagine how long that takes.
Takes a lot.
It does.
Especially with a program like PGF where he's packed so much information into that.
Yeah.
So I want to give the best review possible, so they do take a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, next one. Jose MV25 said, "How TF is progressive overloading new to him? LOL." You then said back, "He doesn't work out. He's a clown." So moving on past that one.
I have to eat my words now that you work out.
I know. All right, moving on to the next one.
For context, that was in one of the previous episodes where Kevin asked what progressive overload was.
And I did that.
And we all laughed together at Kevin because right now, Kevin, I'm putting you on the spot. What is progressive overload? There's no way you don't know, bro. If you don't know, we're shutting this podcast down. We're done.
Just hold on, man. I'm thinking about a lot. I would say progressive overloading is like
you got to be in the mic.
What? So getting your body to do more than it did last time?
Yes.
Oh, let's go. I didn't just guess that. It was buried somewhere deep in my head, and I just pulled it out. I just knew it, but I didn't actually know it. I knew it because I feel like I've heard it so many times, but. Yeah, progressive overloading is when you lift more weight than you did last time.
Or when you do more sets and reps, or when you
do
harder exercises.
You can't do the same thing literally every single day and expect results.
Right.
That's what progressive overloading is.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, you're welcome. And there were people that didn't know what progressive overloading was, and there were people that said, hey, that's actually a great idea. So for you clowns that clowned on me like Nate,
no,
I was right.
No, they were just trying to make you feel better.
I know. It's all good. It's all good. All right, moving on. Good question. Well, actually, good little comment put in there. All right, next one is Arya Jeet Mishra. Are box squats effective?
Yes.
All right. Andrew Rent Tuaya. So I'm probably butchering your names, and I apologize. That's just how it looks to me on the screen. He asks, is it okay to train both single leg and double leg jumps together?
Yes, you should. If you're doing a vertical jump workout, you should have some bilateral work and some unilateral work. Meaning some exercises with two legs, some exercises with one leg.
You have a lot of that in your programs.
Yes.
A lot.
You need both.
Yeah. All right, No Life Grind says, how tall are you?
Me? Mm-hmm. I am 6'1".
6'1"?
Yes. How tall are you, Kevin?
I think I'm like 6 foot. Not even. I'm like right around 6 foot though.
All right.
I think I'm like just above 6 foot, but I'm 6 foot. We're just rounding down. So, but I think you're taller than me.
I'm actually 6'1.5", but with shoes on, I'm 6'1".
Okay, makes sense. Next one, Sharifuddin. Okay. Nate is the only trainer who has his own program, but still gasses up someone else's. That's love, and that's how you know this dude is genuine. By the way, have you seen Overtime Athletes' more recent program, the Elite Vertical Jump Academy? Would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I have seen that, and I love Overtime Athletes, and I love Chris Bernard, and he actually gave me free access to his program to review it, which I haven't looked at it yet because there's a lot of reviews in front of it. But
it's on the agenda.
We will eventually get to it. We're going to do that one and Built to Ball.
Awesome.
By Overtime Athletes.
Awesome. I actually, the Built to Ball one, I think started following their Instagram the other day, and they got some good stuff on there.
That is Overtime Athletes.
Oh, okay. See,
it's a program by Overtime Athletes.
Okay, makes sense. All right, Feta Zoggle? Hey, Nathaniel, I have a question. Right now, my PR for my bar squat is 175 pounds, and I weigh 145. For how long should I continue to build my strength before going explosive? Thanks.
You need to be going explosive now.
At this very moment.
You need to be going explosive now. There is no... And let's say we're just talking about squats.
Bar squat 175, weighing only 140. I mean, that's pretty good. Like, I mean, that's not like
I mean, it's more than you could do.
It's not more than I could do. I could easily put up.
So if it's not more than you could do, it's not that great.
No, this person only weighs 145 pounds. What do you mean? Obviously, I probably have some.
This is how you know Kevin doesn't work out. Because he's 145 pounds.
Okay.
He can squat.
He or she.
175 pounds.
Okay. You should at least squat your own body weight.
That's not
correct or not?
Yes.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is this person is squatting more than their body weight. So I feel like at that point they should all they're good to go explosive. Once you get to at least your body weight with you doing, it's just like doing a push-up. If you can't do one push-up, why are you going to go bench? Why? You know you're not going to be able to bench nothing except, less than your own body weight. In my mind, you should at least be able to do a push-up before you get on the bench.
That is true. However, and no disrespect to this individual, this is complete disrespect towards Kevin. Being 145 pounds and squatting 175 pounds is great, but it's not super impressive. And this is, like I said, no disrespect to this athlete, but you, Kevin, being a leader of the Action Army, you have to understand what a good squat is relative to body weight. And we can work on this.
Please explain it to me just real quick, down and dirty.
So let's say, me, 200 pounds. I'm a little bit up from that right now, actually. But 200 pounds, I can squat about 365 pounds. There's people, and I'm really not even that strong. So back to this individual's question. You should be going explosive now if your goal is vertical jump. If your goal is vertical jump, and this goes back to intent, you should always be trying to move the bar as quickly as possible. If your goal is tendon rehab, trying to get your knees better, then you go slow. But if you are trying to increase your vertical jump, you don't just squat normally until you get to a certain number and then go explosive. You start with whatever you can do, and the intent of every single rep is as explosive as possible if we're talking about the squat.
Makes sense. Okay, well, can we move on?
Yes.
Can you stop roasting me?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I actually haven't really been roasting you.
You haven't.
This podcast.
I think it's because you're a little bit proud of me for working out yesterday, to be honest.
I am a little.
Yeah.
One workout, and I'm proud of Kevin. Sheesh.
Yeah,
the bar is set low.
And I have something to add to that at the end of the podcast. Not add to that, but I have something to say about you that might surprise you.
All right.
So Daniel Keating. This is one actually might be for me. It says, Kevin, what are you thinking? You don't want to be a weak old man. It doesn't end well. They fall down, lose their balance on staircases, slip more often. You lose muscle mass and elasticity as you age. So if you don't build a good base as a young man, it doesn't work out well. Get after it, buddy. Plus, it translates, I'm not going to say this last part, but it translates into something that's very important in my life. So regardless, thanks, dude. And to be honest, obviously, as we just brought up, I'm trying to at least do something. And this is where my journey begins. So thanks for at least giving me a comment. I appreciate you, Daniel Keating.
Yeah, thanks for that comment.
Moving on, Cesar Alvarez. Which is better, pistol squats or RF ESS, which is what, reverse?
No. Go ahead. What's RFESS, Kevin?
Hold on. I just found this. We just talked about this the other day because you were like, oh, it's the. Hold on. It's
Don't look it up.
I'm not. Because this might be one of those to where like earlier, it just comes to me because I've seen it so many times.
I don't think it is.
It's probably not.
I don't think you're getting this.
I mean, obviously.
RF.
Wait. Is it have something to do with like it's single leg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's single leg for sure. All right, go ahead.
Rear foot elevated split squat. Not reverse anything, Kevin.
I'm going to be honest, like as soon as he said it, I go, here we go. Because it sounded, yeah.
Rear foot elevated split squat. So better for what? What is your goal? I'm going to guess vertical jump. Rear foot elevated split squat is better than pistol squats for vertical jump due to the angles of your joints. When you do a vertical jump, in no way, shape, or form is your opposite foot in front of you, like on a pistol squat. So rear foot elevated split squat is better when it comes to vertical jump, just because of the angles of your body in general. That said, pistol squat is not a bad exercise. Pistol squat is a good exercise. It's a tough exercise, so you're going to have to work your way to that by doing one leg chair stands and pistol squats, not going down all the way, so less range of motion. But just to answer the question, rear foot elevated split squat is better for vertical jump than pistol squat.
Great. Moving on.
What question are we on? Do you know?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, let's lock in.
All right, real quick. We'll do a speed one unless you really think it's like
the last 15. This is a speed round.
Okay, you ready? Verified person goes, how to increase your vertical jump when bulking.
We actually made a full video on this.
We did,
but I'll say it right now.
Real quick.
You need to continue to force your body to adapt by using progressive overload. At the same time, you do not want to get fat. You want to be in a caloric surplus of 500 calories per day while improving your numbers in the weight room and in your plyometrics and your jumps. Next.
You were locked in for that one.
Had to be.
All right, next one. Oscar Bleesh. What is the best exercise for single leg jump?
Single leg jumping.
Yeah.
Next.
Premium Vogue. Should I start lifting? I'm 14 years old and I'm already too tall. I'm 6'1".
Yes. Next.
Sipo Hemi. Should I stop training if I get sick?
See, this is one of those ones where you need context. I'll try to do it as fast as I can. If you're a little bit sick, you can probably continue to work out. However, when you get sick, you have to understand that your body is trying to fight something off. So if your body's trying to fight something off and you're giving it these tough workouts and you're forcing it to use energy to adapt and recover, it's going to have a harder time fighting off that sickness. So if you're a little bit sick, go ahead and do it. But I like to use whenever I get sick as deload weeks. So if I get sick, or a couple deload days. So use that as recovery days or a deload week.
Yeah, because you want to get better. You want to get better faster.
Right.
And working out and putting your body through more stress just in general. I would recommend just staying home and sleeping if you can.
I'm not a huge fan in plugging in deload weeks.
Yeah.
In my programs, I do have deload weeks plugged in just in case.
Yeah, but they're after the PR weeks and stuff.
Right, but if you were in my vertical jump coaching, normally I don't plug in deload weeks. We wait for you to go on vacation, or we wait for you to get sick. Let's hope you never get sick, but if you do get sick, we use that as a deload week.
It happens.
We wait for finals week if you're in college where you have less time, or we wait for you to say, hey, I'm feeling a little bit sluggish. I need a deload week.
Right.
So, and for those of you who don't know what a deload week is just a week of doing a little bit less so that your body has more energies and efforts to recover.
Yeah. All right, next, Milisic. How can I build my discipline, please? How can he or she build their discipline?
Wow, this is I haven't thought about this that much, but we did a whole thing on discipline, but I guess I didn't talk about how to build your discipline. So, in order to build your discipline, you need to rep it out. This is the same thing as working out. This is the same thing as jumping. You need to put in reps. So whatever you're trying to build discipline for, you need to do it over and over and over. And eventually, you start to build that discipline muscle. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you build it up. You can build it by doing hard things like cold showers or workouts or anything that is difficult. You can build your discipline up like that. And you also have to want it. You have to really want to do that thing that you are building discipline for. Next.
Love it. Can I do This one comes from Demetrius. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. He asks, "Can I do French contrast training in season?"
No, because
What is French contrast, real quick?
so French contrast training is a training technique where there's 4 parts to it.
Okay.
4 exercises in a row, back to back to back to back. The first exercise, and the reason why you should not do this in season, is a near maximal loaded exercise. So you might be using 90 to 95% of your 1 rep max on a squat or a deadlift. Then the next exercise is normally like a plyometric. The exercise after that is normally a harder plyometric or a sub-maximal load, like a 50% squat. And then the last one is an accelerated plyometric. So you might be doing band accelerated jumps. So 4 exercises in a row, back to back to back to back. The reason why you don't want to do it in season is due to that first exercise being near maximal load.
It's just not a good idea, huh?
You could do it. I wouldn't, but you could. You could get away with doing it in season. If you are very experienced, French contrast training, you shouldn't do unless you've at least been training for 3+ years.
Okay. So somebody like me shouldn't just hop right into French contrast.
Not.
Okay.
It's an advanced technique.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
It could be done during season, but I wouldn't.
Okay. All right. Next one. We're on 21. Music. What's the difference between a power movement and a strength movement?
A power movement is strength plus speed combined. So where strength is going to be 80% of your 1 rep max or more, power is normally going to be between 20% and 80% of your 1 rep max, so that you can build your velocity and your force at the same time. So you build your speed and your strength at the same time. Power is both of those combined.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Next one. Echeverry Panpy. Isn't that a great name? Thank you for the great content. Very useful for me. Moreover, you're so funny and I like your energy. Is it possible to increase my vert at 33 years old and jump? Peace. I'll answer that one. Yes, Pampy. Yes, it is, because I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show you that it is possible. I'm 29. I'll be 30 next year. We're very close in age. We're doing this together.
Yes, definitely possible.
Next. Luke Whalen. Hey, Nathanael, how much rest time would you need in between each exercise?
It depends on the exercise. You need to rest as much as needed to be as effective as possible on the next set. So if you're doing baby ankle jumps, like Kevin and I did yesterday, what did we rest? 10 seconds in between sets?
Something like that, yeah.
If you're doing 1 rep max squats, you're going to need 3 to 4 to 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you need to rest as long as you need to be as effective as possible on the next exercise. So each exercise, or on the next set. So each exercise is going to differ as to how much rest time you need.
Great. Next question, David4262 asks, so can I take C4 pre-workout instead of creatine?
No, they're 2 different things.
Right.
However, some pre-workout already does have creatine in it. So if your pre-workout already has creatine in it, then yeah, just take your pre-workout and not your creatine. But they're 2 different things.
Next question, Hamzui Ahmed asks, can you still grow at 17, 18 years old? I'm currently 5'8".
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you stop growing until you're technically like 25. And it differs for everybody, actually. It's like, but that's I think the sweet spot. 25 to 30 is like when you stop growing completely. And I'm not talking about your height. I've actually done some research into that, just in general, mindset, everything. You really stop maturing and becoming, your true self comes out between the ages of 25 and 30, because you think your life and this, that, and the other. So just outside of that, I absolutely agree that definitely grow. All right, next one, Tyler Reed. Can you still get stronger by lifting the same weights over and over again?
Yes, for a certain time, but then detraining is a real thing. So eventually, as we talked about, you need the progressive overload. You need to be doing more. So maybe at the very beginning, that is stimulating for your body and you are growing and getting stronger. But eventually, doing the same exact weight every single time, you are not going to continue to build strength because your body will adapt and get used to that, and it will no longer become a stimulus that forces adaptation in your body.
Makes sense. Is it kind of like plateauing a little bit? Like, do you plateau at a certain point and then
it's that your body adapts to that.
Yeah, no,
your body adapts. Okay. It gets used to that. So when you do that again, your body says, "I already know what that is. No reason to change."
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kunza South asks, "Are you from Pittsburgh?"
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin and I are from Pittsburgh. So if you're from Pittsburgh, come say what's up.
Yeah, come shout us out.
If you're not from Pittsburgh, come say what's up.
If you're not from the USA, come say what's up. I mean, the Sushi asks, Nate, what is your vertical jump anyways? What is your vertical jump?
Wow.
What is it?
I don't know right now. So, but I'm not going to avoid this question because a lot of vertical jump coaches,
we're gonna have
not
to
going to point any fingers. A lot of vertical jump coaches like to avoid this question. My vertical jump at its peak, when I actually dunked on Kevin, I remembered this the other day and I said, I wish I would have said this in a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember me dunking on you at LA Fitness? Squirt, which is a basketball trainer, was on the other side, and I was scoring on you left and right. And as I was scoring, I was saying, that's 1-0. Then I scored again. That's 2. He ain't getting a bucket. Scored again. That's 3. Y'all see this over here? That's 4. And Squirt was like, hey, you gotta get it. You gotta get a stop. That's 5. And then off of one leg, I'm not even a one-leg jumper, folks. I am a 2-foot jumper. I beat Kevin off the dribble to the right, and I dunked on his head. Do you remember this?
I don't know.
You're a liar.
It's only because I push traumatic events out of my head. So.
Anyways, what was I even talking about? What's this question?
What's your vertical jump, bro?
What is my vertical jump? Right now, I would guess that my vertical jump is around 35 inches.
But what was it at its peak?
43.
Okay.
43-inch vertical jump was the highest I ever had, and that's running.
Yeah.
That's a running vertical jump.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see people like Christopher Spell, who has a higher standing vertical jump than that. These dudes are elite. Because I'm telling you, I was dunking on everybody. I was dunking any way I wanted. I was drop step dunking. I was dunking in games.
Wow.
And that was with a 43-inch vertical jump. Isaiah Rivera has a 50, above a 50 at this point. That's wild.
That is
so
wild.
Highest ever, 43 inches running vertical jump. Call it like it is. That's not super high, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Right now, unfortunately, I sprained my ankle, and I sprained it pretty bad. And I tried to jump the other day and dunk on the hoop. It was only like 9.5, and my athletes were dunking on it. And I went to dunk on it, and I jumped, and it felt like my ankle ripped off the bone all over again. So
really?
I'm in a bad spot right now. I really am.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's why we're working together and kind of like training.
Right. That is why I am also doing the knee program, because I can't do any intense plyometrics or intense vertical jump exercises.
And neither can I right now,
at
too.
this
So it's
point.
perfect. It
Yeah.
like lines up
Right.
perfectly.
So Kevin is getting into it. I am regressing so that I can get my ankle right and keep going. But yeah, right now I would guess if I had to test, I would say a 35. And as I jumped and touched that 35, my ankle would completely explode. But yeah, highest ever 43 right now, probably around 35, but we'll get it back.
I'd love to make fun of you for that, but I just can't because my ankles are weak.
We are also going to test Kevin's vertical jump very soon here. If I had to guess, I would say.
Now I would say after a couple weeks of, not a couple weeks, I would say after a week or two of just getting my legs like loose again, that's when we test it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because there's no reason I feel like for us to test it right now. I mean, there is, but at the same time, like I feel like my legs, A, I don't want to get hurt. B, since we're not doing anything strength and we're just doing like everything kind of like stretching it out, getting them loose again and kind of used to those movements again, I think that at least that's where I can establish my baseline.
All right. I think that you would have a running 24-inch vertical jump. And that's not very good, Kevin. That's running. That's running. I'm not talking about standing. I'm talking about running. Are you
serious? You're doubting me that much?
Bro, you don't really have bounce. You really don't. However, as I said in the last episode, you're athletic.
Yeah.
You really are. And now that you're losing weight, you're getting leaner, you're working out,
Yeah.
you're doing the knee program, which you're going to get bounce from the knee program. Trust me.
Yeah.
I think that we can get you into the 30s very easily, and we should make a video on this.
We are. And if you're listening right now, there's a little teaser. That's a series to come. We don't know what we're going to title it yet, but it's going to be a 29-year-old dad increasing his vertical jump by at least a foot. That is my goal.
Yeah.
By at least a foot.
We can get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. Last two questions, real quick and simple. Hishem SM Kui.
Yeah, you are killing these people's names.
I'm sorry.
There's
guys.
no way you got. But you say these names.
You-
You say these names with so much confidence that I'm like, wow, that's his name.
Yeah. We're gonna have to use like Google Translator before
That would be
we
funny.
do this, and then I'm gonna be like, question from Hishem, like, you know what I mean, like just
Yeah.
some computer. Anyways, he or she asks, what is the tape you use for nose breathing? Where do you get it? Actually, I'm guessing that's word they're probably asking. Like, what tape?
I get it off of Amazon, and it is called Ariza medical tape. AREZA medical tape.
Awesome. Last question. It comes from David Macame. Hey, I just tested for a 36-inch vertical jump off my right leg. But when I have the ball in my hand, I seem to jump lower by maybe 3 to 4 inches. I carry the ball under my left hand and go up, but I jump lower. Any reason why, and maybe a way to use my max vert while dunking?
That's just how it is. You're not really gonna use your max vert while dunking. You can always jump higher without the ball than you can with the ball because you can use that full arm swing. When you have the ball, you're jumping and holding an object at the same time. It's much harder to jump while holding an object than to just jump. So that's going to happen, but you can get more efficient at it. I would do low rim dunking because that's going to help you become more efficient at jumping with the ball. And I would rep it out. It's going to take reps, and you will get better at it.
Yeah,
So,
it makes sense.
but-
And I love the way you put that because I actually was curious to know what you were going to say to that question, and because I didn't know the answer. It's common sense, but I didn't know the actual answer. So thank you
Right.
for explaining it like that.
You can also throw yourself alley-oops. That's a good way to, because you are throwing the ball and then you are still using your full arm swing to jump, and then you're going up to get it and you're dunking it. But that's if we're talking about in games and normal dunks, that's
Right.
obviously not going to work.
Right.
So yeah, increase your vertical jump, get it higher. 36 is pretty high in general, but you're going to need to rep that out. Increase your vert, continue to take it higher, and make sure you rep that out because that is a motor pattern that you can get better at.
Awesome. Well, that's it. That's it for
Cool.
the 30 questions.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. 30
questions.
comments.
We-
Yeah.
Yeah. We should have did speed round on all of them. because-
Sure. I mean, or just maybe bring it down to like 10 questions next time. I mean,
Yeah.
again, we're learning while we're doing this, and if you got this far, and we still appreciate you listening, it's just one of those things to where we want to show some love to the viewers out there and the listeners, and that's why we do this.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things to do. I love answering questions
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Next segment is the on the spot
Yes.
segment.
I could
with
not wait.
yours truly, Kevin.
Yes.
McCardle.
Yes. So this is on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. Action Army. It's good to see you again, or good to actually speak to you again. We hit a lot of things that I was going to hit in this segment already, but I have a few questions I kind of just want to throw out there. Some funny things, some fun things, again, like always. And this is a question that I wanted you to tell the people. This is some information that I kind of wanted to get from you to help the people at home in case they want to obtain some equipment at home to use maybe in their garage, to maybe use in an extra spare bedroom, outside, whatever it may be. Some equipment just starting out. Maybe they're trying to, like me, get their legs nice and loose, and then maybe, build from there. Or maybe say they're already loose and they want to, try to start, getting some vertical jump. What is some perfect equipment to start off with?
Okay, so if you're building a garage gym. I'm going to start with the most basic, and then I'll kind
We're
of...
talking about vertical jump stuff too, imagine. I'm not talking about... Okay.
Right. So I'm going to start with the most basic, and then I'll branch out because we don't know how much money people have to afford equipment.
Can I give you a budget?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll give you a budget.
This is your segment, Kevin.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, you know how much this equipment costs. I don't, right, as of right now. So that's why. I mean, what's a good starter budget? How much money would you say you kind of need to get started on this stuff?
I don't think we should do a budget.
Okay.
Because, and I said yes, but then like we just don't know how much people have.
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to start with the bare minimum, and then I'll branch out.
Okay.
I think that's a better way to do it.
Okay.
You need dumbbells.
Dumbbells.
Got to have dumbbells.
Okay.
And let's say you can only get one pair of dumbbells. I would say 20s to 30s would be very versatile for a vertical jump.
Okay.
You can do your single leg Romanian deadlifts. You can do, dumbbell jumps. You can do a lot with some 20s to 30s. You can put them together to make 40 pounds or up to 60 pounds if you have 30s. So first is dumbbells.
Okay.
Second, you need some resistance bands. You can do a whole lot with resistance bands.
Where do you have links?
I have links on my website.
Right? Okay,
if you go to my website,
if
you go to my website and then you click store and then you click equipment, there's all the equipment that I use there. There's bands and mini bands and slant boards.
And you guys don't have to get that. I didn't ask this question to promote his site. I just wanted to know because I know if I was listening out there and I had no idea what to do and this question came about, I would probably trust your word. So that's why I would go to your website, personally.
Right. So, dumbbells, then you need resistance bands. And by resistance bands, I mean a large resistance band and also a mini band.
Okay.
I do think that you definitely need a large resistance band would be more important, and then you can loop it, to make it twice. Right. Why can I not think of this? You loop it around, you fold it in half so that it is shorter, and you can use that as a mini band.
Makes sense. Anything else?
If you have more money than that, I would grab a bench or a box to jump on.
I like the box idea.
If you're sealing, you can also build a box out of wood.
Oh, true.
Very, very easy to build a box out of wood. Or use a folding chair or something like that.
Okay.
That way you could do box jumps. You could do step-ups. There's a lot of things you could do. If you have extra money, I would then look into getting a barbell with some weight plates and a squat rack if you could.
Definitely.
Other than that, we're going to be, it's not really a garage gym. Once you really, I guess I have a lot of stuff in my gym, so I can't really say that.
Yeah. Right.
So, but those are going to be the bare minimum, the basic stuff that you need for a garage gym: dumbbells, bands, and then a box, bench, chair, something to do step ups on or to jump on, and then a barbell with some weight plates and a squat rack would be excellent if you could afford it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. So, a couple more things, before we wrap this up. Right now, currently, are you watching NBA games?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've been watching a lot more games too. This season's actually pretty good. A lot of breakout players, a lot of people doing a lot of good things, like a lot of new players, right? So I want to know off the top of your head, top 5 current NBA players in the league right now. And then I'll tell you my 5.
All right. My top 5.
And this doesn't necessarily have to be in order, but it would be nice for you to go 5-1.
Okay, 5-1. Dang, I didn't even get to think about this. I should have. This should just be in my head, anyways. But from 5-1, my top 5 NBA players in the fifth spot. I said splot because I was going to say LeBron. In the 5th spot, I have LeBron James. I have to put him top 5, bro. I'm sorry. I love LeBron. He was my childhood hero. So number 5, I have LeBron. Number 4, I have Joel Embiid. Number 3, I have Jokic. Number 2, Luka. Number 1, and my guy, James Harden. Just kidding.
Not to say James Harden's a bad player. I like James Harden.
He's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Giannis, yeah. So I'll go 1 to 5.
Why would you go 1 to 5?
Switch it up. I'm switching it up because you're going to hear a lot of these names the same. So,
All right.
it's no surprise. Number 1, definitely going to be Giannis. Okay.
Did you just say Giannis? How are you going to say his name and you don't even know how to say his name?
Antetokounmpo?
I'm saying you said Giannis. His name is Giannis.
I just don't do it like that. I mean, okay,
You don't say his. You definitely butchered everybody's name on the YouTube channel. Because
you're right.
All right.
I guess that's that Carrick education.
Yeah, facts.
But anyways, so yeah, the first one's going to be Giannis. Can you say his last name?
Antetokounmpo.
I love it. So the first one's going to be Giannis. Okay. Number 2, and this might come as a surprise because actually number 2 was not on your list. Okay. Are you ready for this one? All right. I am going to put Damian Lillard. And I'm not going to go into specifics. Maybe that'll be another video. I love Damian Lillard. Okay. He is a monster.
He is. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah, in my mind.
So you're saying that you would rather have Dame than Luka, Jokic.
I like Luka and I like Jokic, and I like a lot of these players. I'm not saying I don't like them. However, I have my own personal opinions, and that's just my opinion.
Is this from 2K?
No.
You play with him on 2K or something?
No, I don't play with anybody on 2K. I play with my own dude.
Sorry, I don't know how 2K works.
I mean, that's just,
You play with Kevin McCardle on 2K?
No, I play, you don't want to know
What's your
my
name? What's your name on 2K?
Are you going to put me on the spot like that, dude?
What's your name on 2K?
It's nothing like really inappropriate.
All right, so what is it?
Pappy 1943. So you heard it first. I play on PC. That's my Steam ID. Pappy 1943. Hit me up. Anyways, so.
Oh my.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Giannis, Dame, then LeBron. I'll put KD and then Joel. So.
Bro.
What?
Where's Luka?
I like Luka and I like Jokic. They're top 10. I do not think,
bro.
Dude, I have my own opinions, man.
All right. I mean,
all right. Are you okay with that, listeners? Are you okay with that?
I'm really not. But all right.
I mean, that'd be like me saying why Jokic,
bro. There's not even like there's no comparison.
Okay, I'll redo it. You ready?
No. Keep it.
Good, because I was about to come up with some off the wall stuff.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. This is. First, I want to talk about something at the end, okay? But first of all, because we're already on a topic, all right, I want to know what your opinion is behind old LeBron James' son, the oldest one, that there's apparently speculation that LeBron is waiting for Bronny to get into the league, and then he wants to play with him on the Lakers. What do you think is going to really happen? And on it, have you seen Bronny James ball?
Yes.
Monster.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, hey, I'm just asking, I don't know what you watch. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't.
Bro.
So I want to know what your opinion is, because obviously LeBron's getting older and whatnot, and I don't see him sticking around for another 5+ years.
Bro.
And Bronny, is about to...
He's a senior.
He's a senior.
In high school.
Right. But what's the rules now? You have to play 1 or 2 years of college?
Yeah, but still.
Right.
LeBron is
so it's definitely
around.
Possible. So
yes,
you think
100.
that... Okay, all right.
If I had my way, I would love for LeBron to stay for a while longer, just break everybody's records, and just them never to be able... They would never be able to be broken again, unless somebody came in and they were just wild.
Do you want to know my opinion is on it?
Yes.
And this is like a watch. If this comes true, okay? This comes true, I'm truly the GOAT. I think that, yes, LeBron James is going to wait. I think somehow the Lakers are going to acquire his son, Bronny James. And then I think that they will play. I think that they probably will win at least one championship. And then after that, I think LeBron might end up as a head coach of LA Lakers.
That'd be dope.
Look at the Lakers' history. You know, I mean, time and time again, you have these GOATs, these greats and stuff that are coaching. It would line up perfectly. It'd be a perfect storyline. Lakers would have tons of games. I just wanted to kind of know, like, you know, who do you think would win one-on-one? Bronny James or LeBron James?
Bronny could not even touch LeBron.
I think that Bronny could.
No.
Eventually, I mean, granted, you know, it's just his, like, obviously, you know, his age and like his size right now, but I can guarantee you within the next 5 years that Bronny James will be better than LeBron James. And here's why. You take a guy that is a master at his craft. He's obviously passing that down to his son. His son is learning new things on top of that. He's going to be better.
In 5 years, are we talking one-on-one or are we talking like actually in the league?
No, because like one-on-one.
One-on-one, maybe. Like, you know, LeBron will be getting older. You know, Bronny will be maturing.
Yeah.
But in the league,
right.
There's no way in 5 years that Bronny touches LeBron's numbers.
Right. No, absolutely not.
Even in
I'm not
5
saying
years,
that, but
when LeBron is in his 40s, Bronny's not going to touch his numbers.
I just think about it like this, right? You have Michael Jordan, one of the greats. You have Kobe Bryant, one of the greats, and you have LeBron James, who's one of the greats, right? And they all had something different they brought to the game. And with each one of them, they had their own unique thing. LeBron James, I feel like, was one of those guys that came into the league and was one of the most well-rounded individuals in the league. He took everything all those guys had to offer, and not only that, but he used his size to his advantage, his wingspan, all these other things, and he worked very, very hard at it. What I'm trying to say here is then now you have his son. His son's going to take all of that and learn new stuff. The new shit that's coming, new stuff that's coming out, and new things that are. I mean, he already has all this knowledge that his dad brings to the table. He's going to be better. I'm telling you, Bronny James is going to be the next GOAT. I'm calling it right now. The next GOAT of the game.
I'm calling it right here. Bronny James is not going to ever do what LeBron did. There's no way that Bronny is considered one of the greats with MJ, Kobe, and LeBron.
You don't think he'll ever be?
I hope he does.
Okay.
I ain't a hater.
Right.
I'm just saying I don't think he will.
Okay.
I hope he proves me wrong.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about. It's because it's very important to me, and I feel like a lot of people should know. And this is literally the last thing we're going to talk about, and I need you guys to pay attention because I feel like it's one of those things that is it's not talked about a lot. It's something that I personally struggled with when I was a kid and stuff. And what it is everybody has their own role on a basketball team. Nate is an assistant coach for his high school team, and you don't necessarily need to score all the points. Right? You just need to play your role on the team in order to do better. But I feel like as a kid, you don't necessarily understand that. Yeah, I'm sure you see, your buddy over here scoring all these points and, this other guy over here scoring all these other points. But in my mind, I feel like what I want to know in your head, what makes a good basketball player minus the points? Like if you had 5 basketball players on your team, and they each had their own role to play, do you think that points is what defines a player?
Absolutely not. I think you knew the answer to that. Points is not what defines a player. And the unfortunate thing, especially in high school, once you get to college, if you play high level at college, you start to realize this. But in high school, people think that you're not as good of a player if you don't score as many points. Now, if you play for a good coach in high school, and what I've been trying to explain to my kids is that everybody wants to go out there and score 30. Everybody's not scoring 30. If we have 10 people that play in the game and you all scored 30, we'd have 300 points.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we might need you to be a lockdown defender and go guard the best player on the other team. I don't want you to score a single point. If you do, great. That's a bonus. But what I need you to do, your role, is locking him down.
Right.
Keep him under a certain amount of points. People get scholarships to college for being lockdown defenders.
Right.
So not everybody's going to score all these points. And unfortunately, in high school, you might not score that many points, and then you go and in the hallway, your buddy's like, bro, you ain't even that good. Your average is only 5 points. It's like, bro, but I average 20 boards a game.
Right.
Like, you might be the big man.
Right.
Or, I'm the lockdown defender.
Right.
Like, my job isn't to score all the points.
Right.
So there's different roles to a team.
Right.
Points definitely do not define a player, but points is what everybody wants. And points is, unfortunately, what everybody characterizes every basketball player as to say whether or not they are a good player.
So that's not true.
It's not true.
Right. And I already knew that answer going into it. I just wanted to know where Nate's headspace was coming from, because it dawned on me the other day that it didn't dawn on me, but I made a realization that I am no longer that 18-year-old kid that graduated from Carrick. And I look at his athletes and stuff like these high school players, these high school kids that he's training now, and sometimes I tend to forget that. Sometimes I tend to forget that they haven't lived through everything that I have lived through. And then I almost want to help them by telling them, like, look, hey, this is what's going on. But then I realized Nate has been doing that for so many years. And I was so blind to it. Like, I didn't realize, and this is the part that I was going to surprise you on. So yesterday I realized, I'm looking at, his athletes and these kids, and I realized that Nate is one of those dudes that these kids are looking up to, for whatever reason. And that's not somebody that we necessarily had back in the day. Not back in the day. I mean, it wasn't forever ago, but back when we were growing up in high school, we didn't have that person, or not at least everybody did. I mean, sure, we had our role models and stuff, but we never, I feel like you didn't have somebody of Nate's caliber in the neighborhood reaching out to these kids to try and make a difference, try to give them different options and resources, and provide them those resources that if they want to go out there and get the success and meet their goals, Nate is willing to help them. And most times, like, I'm telling you, the amount of respect that these athletes have towards Nate is just something that I have not seen in a very long time, especially in the neighborhood that we grew up in. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to you, bro. Like, you're doing big things out there. You're doing good things. And at the very least, you're making an impact in the community. And that, to me, like, made me proud as a best friend. As a best friend, I obviously consider you family. And I wanted to put that out there for the listeners, because obviously they're not seeing that. I am, and your athletes are. And, they look up to you. And I'm proud of you, man.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I appreciate that. And now I feel bad for all this roasting that I've been doing with you, and I appreciate you too, Kevin.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, that's it for my On the Spot segment. Like I said, I just wanted to throw that in there. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you guys had fun, and that's all I really have to say.
Right. I want to say one last thing, and then we can let the listeners go. But the reason why I am so willing to help these kids is because they come from where we come from.
Yes.
I coach these kids on the high school team. And honestly, this is why I wanted to be willing to help all these kids and give them all these opportunities that we never had. Because every single year we go to Alderdice and they bust our ass. That's why. That's exactly why. And I ask myself, every time we get crushed by Alderdice, I say, why is this high school team so much better than my high school team?
Yeah.
But you look at where they come from, they have the resources, they have wealthier families, they go to all the basketball camps, they get all these trainings, they have the trainers, they have all these resources because their parents have more money.
Yeah. And as much as we don't want to say that, that is a fact. And we can speak on that because we were not at all rich growing up. I mean, in fact, I would even go as far to say that we lived below the medium household income line, right?
And that's exactly how all these players are.
Exactly.
The school that I coach at, that Kevin and I went to high school at,
right,
is a low-income school with
Yes.
a bunch of good kids who could be really great if I would just put them through the skills workouts and teach them how to play basketball properly.
Exactly.
So I promise you, I'm going to change the culture. We are going to change the culture.
And that's the plan. That's the plan, and we just want to give these kids an opportunity. And not to say that their parents aren't giving them opportunities, but their parents might not even know. They might not know the opportunities that are out there for their sons and daughters and things and their kids, that we can be there and we can get these resources out to the community. We can push these things out. Hopefully one day we have enough money to bring in these AAU tournaments to maybe Carrick and things like that, so these kids can know what it's like to play at a higher level. That's what it's about, playing at a higher level so they can get used to what it's going to be like when they eventually leave Pittsburgh and hopefully move on to bigger and better things.
Right.
So,
all right. Well, that's all that I have for this podcast. Those were 3 mistakes, actually 4, thanks to just Jumari and Christopher Spell. 3 mistakes that a lot of athletes make when trying to increase their vertical jump. That was the Q&A. We had 30 questions. Next time we'll do a little bit less or go quicker. And then that was On the Spot by Kevin McCardle. Thank you guys for listening. Leave us a review if you could. We would love that. Give us 5 stars if you think this is a 5-star podcast. Check out our programs. Check out our supplements. And we will see you guys next time.
Can they follow me on Instagram?
Yes.
Are we adding that in there now?
Follow Kevin on Instagram.
Please.
What's your username?
Kevin Sean 00.
Is it? I thought it was Kevin McCardle.
It might be.
It is. They're going to follow some random Kevin Sean.
Is it underscore McCardle?
No, it's Kevin
Kevin McCardle.
You don't even know.
00.
Don't follow this dude on Instagram. He don't even know his handle.
No, I changed it because Nate actually was like, hey, man, I want to try to get more people following you. And he was like, you need an easier handle name. So it used to be Kevin Sean. Now it's just Kevin McCardle 00. And that's it on Instagram. And I'm only asking you to do that because eventually I'm going to start putting out reels of like behind the scenes stuff with Nate. So if you want to see all that, follow me. I got you.
And you're going to be doing Noti Squad.
Yes, I'm going to be doing Noti Squad and the jump comments going forward. So it's just a lot easier that I'm also able to interact with you guys. So please follow me on Instagram.
Right. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.